Sometimes it's difficult to explain the plot of a movie. Now, usually that's because the movie is complicated or intricate, or you don't want to give anything away. That's not the case with New Year's Eve. The movie New Year's Eve, it's difficult to explain the plot because there's like 12 of them, and they don't really intersect that much. So the plot is really a bunch of plots, a group of plots, if you will. If you've seen the ads for New Year's Eve, you know it follows a bunch of different stories with a bunch of different people. Like, it's just like name after name after name that are involved in what happens this New Year's Eve 2011. And it's really, I mean, if you look at the poster, that's pretty much what it is. It's just a list of names. And I guess that's kind of the conceit of the movie. Valentine's Day apparently was a movie they did before New Year's Eve, so I guess they're just taking the holidays and throwing a bunch of people at it and trying to come up with a halfway decent, cohesive movie. Which makes me very, very glad Groundhog's Day is already a movie, because they probably ruined that holiday as well. And the truth of the matter is, it just fails. It's just not a great movie. And I don't know that there's much they could have done about that. When you try to squeeze so many different stories into one 2-hour time frame, they just don't get the service you need. The characters don't get the depth that they need. I mean, Robert De Niro and Halle Berry are one of these stories, kind of the center of one of these stories. And they're really good actors. I believe they both won Oscars. But they can't do much with the limited time they're on screen. It's almost like they're trying to force you to care about these characters, and it just does not happen. And you know what? To be honest, I don't know that it's really the actor's fault. These performances aren't all that bad. I think it's the writing's fault. There's some really poor dialogue and writing devices used in this movie. And it's just, there's these moments you go, there's no semblance of reality to this moment of what is happening here. And I don't mean in a suspension of disbelief kind of way. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example. There's a moment where one of the characters gets into a car accident, a minor car accident, but he gets into the car accident because the GPS is telling him the wrong directions. Well, we've used GPS. We know how that works. And then he gets into the car accident, and the humor, the shtick is that the airbag deploys in the passenger seat, and then it deploys in the driver's seat and surprises him. And then the voice from the GPS that's been steering him wrong, you know, literally steering him wrong, says, "Airbags deployed." Since when does your GPS tell you your airbags have been deployed? Now, I know what you're saying. Maybe it's like one of those OnStar GPS built in. No, no, no. This is a GPS that has been purchased from the store that is on the windshield, and now it's telling him his airbags have been deployed. I have no idea how it knew that, but it sure was funny. That's what I mean when I say it strains credibility. That's just not, there's nothing real about that, and that happens time and time again in this movie, and it really takes you out of it. Aside from that, you never really get into it, again, because you don't get to be involved in the characters and the stories. There's just not enough time. I think Alyssa Milano was in this movie. I think, the girl from Who's the Boss. I'm almost sure, unless I missed it, that she had like one line in the entire movie. And it wasn't even like one of those like clever cameo one-liners. It was just, she came out of her room, said something to Halle Berry's character, and then went back into the room. These kind of movies baffle me. I don't know why they exist, and I don't know why people would want to go see them. If I had to pick something good to say about this movie, it would be maybe that it's cute in moments. There's some cuteness to it, and that it ended with bloopers in the credits. I am all for any movie that wants to put the gag reel in the credits. That way I always leave at least smiling at something real that happened. The only real part of the movie were the bloopers in the credits. That should tell you something about the movie New Year's Eve.